Hey guys, welcome back to part 5 of the 420 Megabike build. Today we're going to be installing our shock, which we got off of a parts bike. It's a 1986 Honda 250. We're also going to be reinforcing our rear swing arm. We noticed that once we got the tire mounted up and put weight on it, we were getting a little bit of flex in these back tabs. So I got this 1-inch flat stock that we're going to be running the whole length of this and stiffening it up. We were finally able to get into our front forks, and unfortunately they are trash. One of them is bent pretty bad. I've removed both dust seals and they both look just as radished as these oil seals do, and it's pretty obvious that they've let stuff by. On the bottom we took out the plugs. Of course, no oil came out. They were filled with mud. So yeah, those are garbage. On the flip side, I stumbled upon two big reds, and they both have functional front forks. And I know what you're thinking. I'm not going to tear these down. I'm actually going to be running them. But I'm probably going to, rip these front forks out of this 1986 and put them on the Megabike, and then put the C's forks back on this one just so we can ride it around. I know we won't get any, suspension out of it, but at least we'll be able to run it. And hopefully by the end of this video, we'll get a test run for you guys. So essentially this rear end is a go-kart rear end. This is a 1-inch go-kart axle that I bought. It was 44 inches or so long, and I cut it down to 20. It used to have threaded ends on it, but those are gone. These are pillow block bearings that can slide back and forth for chain adjustment. This axle actually has a keyway going all the way down, and it accepts a 1/4 inch key. So I bought a whole bunch of hubs. A hub for our sprocket, a hub for our rim, and a hub for our brake disc. And this key will keep them from moving on the axle. And then I have these 1-inch collars, which are split collars. Take that apart and that just straddles that key. And that'll keep the hubs from moving left or right. The first thing we're gonna do is drill holes for these cut points to go into our axle. So I'm gonna line them up so they're kind of in line with each other. And I'll use this Allen key, it's an 1/8 inch Allen. I'll drive those cut points in where they'll make marks on our axle. We'll take the axle out and we'll drill out holes. So we've got our hole drilled. Here's our set screw. It's the cut point is gonna sit right inside of that, and that should hold it from rotating. So we got the forks off of this bike and installed them on the Megabike. The next move is to get this shock mounted, but before we do that, we're going to be cutting our jack shaft right here and removing that segment, so it'll give us a little bit more room for our shock. So we finally got our shock mounted in. It's just tack welded right now. Took us 3 tries to get it there, and a lot of wasted hours, but it's in. Our ride height might seem a little bit high right now. It's at 10 inches from this bar to the top of the tire, but when we throw our engine in, she'll drop down another inch, and then when we jump on it, it goes down to about 4 inches. So I'm pretty sure the shock's gonna, do the trick for us. Our next step is to just, finish welding up these tabs down here, and then this tab off the back here, we're gonna strengthen it and put a piece of flat stock. Okay, now that we have our swing arm reinforced down here, we're going to be putting it back on the bike. I just wanted to show you guys how it goes together. Here are our bearings. These go into the sleeves on the end here. Here's our jack shaft, which I cut up into pieces. This side here is actually just going to act as like a bolt where it hinges, and this side is going to be a functional jack shaft. So this is a 3/4 inch go-kart axle with a 3/16 keyway going all the way down. So here's our keys. And then I'm going to be using these two sprockets. They're both number 40 and they're 16 tooth. So they go on here our keyway goes on. And then there's a set screw in here that you tighten down and it locks it in place. There's also another set screw here. I might be drilling holes into the axle or into the jack shaft just like I did with the axle, just to give it a little bit extra bite. But yeah, so let's put this thing together. So we finally got it ready for a test drive. One of the things we've done to get it to this point was break in our engine. We removed the governor, the low oil sensor, we added a larger jet to our car, and stiffer valve springs to prevent valve float. We've also made our own custom header to match up with our Cobra exhaust that we've taken off of the parts dirt bike. We're gonna have to wrap it or build some sort of heat shield because it puts off a lot of heat. The CVT has been put back together and both chains have been installed. We've also put the original foot pegs back on. The rear fender has been made from 55-gallon plastic drum, and we put the lid to the toolbox from the 250 ES rack back on. Over here we finally got the thumb throttle hooked up to our homemade top plate, and it's using ARC linkage there. Up front, we finally got the fender and front rack and light put back on, and we've made our own number plate made out of 55-gallon drum as well. Eventually we'll have our battery hooked up, but for now we've been pull starting it.